Hello, what's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists? Welcome to this first episode of Mayhem in Middle-earth. And this is just more or less a very brief overview of what's to come in this series. Initially this was just going to be another I've got some figures and let's have a look at them and this is how I paint them kind of thing, but as I'm rekindling my love for Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, all that kind of stuff, Middle-earth in general, I want to delve a little bit deeper than that. So I'm going to be doing all sorts of stuff to do with Middle-earth. But let's just start with, you can see there, this is just some figures I've started with, starting with Gandalf, and they're all exquisitely detailed. And yeah, as you can see, the quality of these is just fantastic. This is Gandalf the Grey, and then I've got Radagast the Brown, as we see front and back, and then Legolas, of course. Before going any further though, this is just the version of Legolas I like the look of for my initial purchase, because what I quickly discovered with the miniatures side of this hobby is in Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Middle-earth in general, there are, with the characters, major and minor, there are many different versions of each character, you know, on foot, mounted, this place. I mean, Gandalf, you've got Gandalf the Grey, Gandalf the White, Gandalf on horseback. There's just so many different versions of him out there, and by different manufacturers as well. These are Citadel ones that you can see here and now, but taking Legolas as an example, you can get Legolas Helm's Deep version, where he's in a slightly different pose, not that different, but a slightly different pose, so you've got a lot of options out there. So the rest of them, I mean, I've got Gimli and Sam and Balin, and what was the other? Oh, Gollum. I got a Gollum at the Forbidden Pool. So I've also, as you will see, got a box of Dwarven Rangers, which has pretty much nothing to do with the story, but I just like the look of them, and yeah, so why not? I will find a use for them at some point. Initially I was not going to get into the game per se. That may change now. Who can say? I may well do that, but I'm not going to rush for that. But I'm going to be looking at the book, the story itself, you know, other games, role-playing games. Now, when I was younger, I used to have a Lord of the Rings role-playing game. Or Middle-earth, I forget which it was called. I'd know if I saw the cover. I did see a copy of it going on eBay for £40 the other day. I thought, wow, that's really quite expensive. It's an out of print book, but it's beautifully done, and I would dearly love to get my hands on it just for nostalgia purposes, and you know, one day the opportunity may present itself. I may well do that. So but yeah, so what I'm in the process of doing at the moment is accumulating some figures. I wanted to start with the Fellowship of the Ring, but of course when you're hunting down figures and things like that in an area such as this, where the main company producing the figures, or the mainstream company producing the figures, is Games Workshop, and you know, they could pull the plug on that sort of venture at any given time. I'm just getting them, you know, as I see them, and that's kind of the crux of it, really. But yeah, these figures that I've got so far, I'm highly impressed. The detail on them is greater than I thought it was going to be. Having been into the 40k scene for a few years now, and looking at the general quality of the plastics of Citadel, I don't know, for some reason I thought I wouldn't put as much effort into the Lord of the Rings stuff or the Hobbit stuff, but they do, and it really does show up, and I think it's fantastic. So I'm going to be thoroughly enjoying that. But I'm not going to be just sticking with Citadel or Games Workshop stuff. I will be doing other manufacturers of stuff. I'm going to be looking at all sorts as well, scenery as well, because there's some classic scenes from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, which just lend itself really to they're just iconic scenes, and they lend itself perfectly to having miniatures made or purchased of that. So I'm going to be looking at that too. So that's what's coming up. I have no schedule for this. It's going to be an as and when I feel like it, because I've got stuff I'm doing on a constant basis at the moment, which take up a lot of time, having to do it on a certain day, and I have to film on certain days and make sure it's uploaded for certain days. So there are other things. So things like this, I'm just going to do as and when. So, but that's what's coming up. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. And remember, all brushes lead to war. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.